So 2020 was kind of sus, but thankfully it's almost over. The silver lining to 2020 is that there were some awesome tech products announced. And I'm not gonna talk about any of those today, but I am going to talk about some of the accessories for those awesome products as my last video for 2020. Hey, I'm Jerry, and yes, there was a lot of awesome things announced this year from Apple, including the new MacBooks with M1, the last Intel iMac, the iPhone 12, 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max, and 12 Mini, and of course, new iPads. I've talked about all of these devices a lot over the last year, and today I wanted to talk about just some of my favorite accessories for those devices, starting with the one accessory that I really care about for the iPad. The iPad Magic Keyboard. Yes, this thing came out in the spring. It was a crazy announcement that just happened to coincide with the iPad Pro announcement right when the pandemic was starting, and people went nuts trying to figure out how this thing worked. The iPad Pro simply connects magnetically to the top, it hovers above, it's got this dual hinge action that allows the iPad to fold back so you get different viewing angles just like a laptop, and it's fantastic. You also get a full keyboard with the 12.9-inch version. It is a full Magic Keyboard, just like Apple's other keyboards, so it has the new scissor switches. All keyboards had been replaced from the terrible, awful butterfly keyboards. The keys on this case are much better than the Smart Folio keyboard case. It doesn't have that fabric coating over it. They're backlit. The only thing I wish that the keyboard had on this iPad Magic Keyboard was function rows. It would be really nice to be able to change the volume and the brightness and control media from the keyboard without having to go into the settings of the iPad. Maybe next time. But what we did get is a trackpad. So with iOS 13.4, we got trackpad support on the iPad, and now we have a multi-touch trackpad that works just like Apple's other trackpads. The only difference is it's not force touch, it is a manual physical click button. This accessory is great because it really does transform the iPad from a tablet to a real productivity device. It really makes this a laptop replacement, and in my mind, that really does solidify the iPad as a true productivity device. All right, moving right along from iPad to iPhone. One sec. All right, I got it. The single most important accessory for the iPhone 12, in my opinion, is a case. And that goes for every iPhone. It's just, the benefits, of course, to having a case are the gripability and the protection. I like the Apple Silicone case for the new iPhone's 12 for a couple of reasons. One, I really like the soft touch feel of Apple Silicone cases. It just feels really good, it's smooth, it doesn't pick up a lot of crap or crud or lint, and it still slides in and out of my pockets very easily. And two, the case is thin. It's a piece of plastic wrapped in this silicone soft touch material, and that keeps the phone bulk down. If you're using a case for protection or for looks, you don't want a bulky case, and this does a good job of providing both protection and looks and not being too bulky. And third, well, there's not really a third. It's not bulky, it feels good, it slides into my pocket, it's fine, it protects the phone. But I did have a previous video talking about the silicone cases for the iPhone 11 Pro, and they started to come apart at the bottom. And I said I'm not going to buy another Apple silicone case until they have a significant redesign. And I don't think it's a significant redesign, but they do have this added silicone at the bottom that will offer more protection for the bottom of the phone and hopefully protect these corners a little bit. But I still think that this case is gonna deteriorate, but I just like the feel of it. I like that it's not bulky, and I actually like the color with this blue iPhone 12 mini. And now to Mac accessories. I love this mouse. When I went back to the Mac for the first time after 7 years this summer, one of the things I was most excited about was using a Magic Mouse because Apple has nailed inertial scrolling with the Magic Mouse and Mac OS. After a while, my hands started to get fatigued of using that mouse, so I decided it was time to try something a little bit different, a little bit more ergonomic. What's nice about the MX Master 3 is that this scroll wheel actually has a clutch that you can engage or disengage, and when you disengage it, the mouse wheel scrolls freely, just like the inertial scrolling on the Magic Mouse, and it works really well with macOS. Scrolling up and down on a website is no issue for this guy. Things like Twitter that has infinite scrolling, you can just kind of flick your finger and it'll scroll and then it'll reload and keep scrolling as this thing still spins, which is pretty cool. Now, of course, you can't do left-right scrolling on this scroll wheel, but you do have this left-right scroll on the side for your thumb. And this actually works extremely well as well. This thumb wheel does not have inertial scrolling. However, some applications actually do recognize it as having that ability. So for example, Final Cut Pro, when you flick your thumb on this, it will scroll the timeline left or right and kind of keep going and taper off, just like as if it was the Magic Mouse. You also get a couple of buttons for left, right in the browser, and you get a function button right here that allows for things like the gestures on the Magic Mouse for expose or switching desktops. One other thing about this MX Master 3 is they do sell a Mac specific version that comes in a slightly different color. And that one only works with Bluetooth. If you buy the regular MX Master 3, you also get the little unifying receiver adapter thing that allows you to plug this into your computer and get not Bluetooth connections. So if you have finicky Bluetooth connections with your computer, this can help solve that. And you can also connect it to other devices using Bluetooth as well. So if you want to connect it to another computer or another iPad, you can do that. This is my Samsung T7 drive. It is a tiny, compact SSD drive that runs in USB-C 3.1 Gen 2, so it can get up to 1 gigabyte per second of speed. And that is amazing for a tiny little drive like this. It's not Thunderbolt, you're not getting multi-gigabits per second, but for what this is, it's very fast. It's so fast that I can actually record off of this, which I do. I bought this with my 2020 iMac because I bought the iMac with 512 gigs of internal storage and I needed something larger to edit off of. This drive is more than fast enough to do everything I need it to do. If I start a video edit on the iMac with this, I can then just disconnect this from the iMac, plug it into my MacBook Pro, and now I can continue editing the same file, the same video off of this drive with either computer. There are many other drives on the market just like it, but this one is mine, and this is what I use. Next is the CalDigit TS3 Plus dock. This is a 15-port dock that provides all kinds of different connection options for a laptop or a desktop, whatever you need. When I switched to the M1 MacBooks, I needed a way to expand the ports. 2 single USB-C ports is just not enough. This gives you the ability to have additional front-facing ports, USB-A and C, audio ports, SD cards, and on the back you get 5 more, no that's not right, you get 4 more USB-A ports, USB-C port, Thunderbolt in and out, Ethernet, DisplayPort, and optical audio if that's what you want. And of course this connects to a MacBook Pro with a Thunderbolt cable and charges it and transfers all of these ports to it. And this is a really nice dock. It fits well with the MacBooks and even with the iMac if you want additional ports for that are front facing. And speaking of iMacs, iMacs are the best desktop form factor I think you can get. And one of the reasons for that is just the clean, simple appearance. And one thing you can do, like with that SSD that I just showed you, you can hide that behind the iMac with something like this. This is the TwelveSouth BackPack. And what this does is it clamps onto the back stand of the iMac to hold hard drives or SSDs or something else, I guess, if you want to hide it back there. The TwelveSouth comes with different adapters for different iMacs from the last decade, as well as cinema displays. You have these rubber columns here that you kind of screw on here that allow you to keep the drives in place so they don't slide off or they can't slide off. And I usually keep a couple of hard drives on this at a time, always connected to the iMac for things like file storage and time machine backups. And the last thing that I have is this aluminum laptop stand that I bought for the MacBook Pro M1 that I have. This matches the MacBook aluminum almost to a T. This is a space gray version. There are, of course, regular aluminum or silver versions, and I think there's even a gold version. There's a number of different companies that make the same exact stand, but I'll put a link below so you can find this one if you're interested. And what's nice about this is that it can adjust in every way. By loosening the knob on the side, you can change the height of the stand. Just tighten it. You can change the tilt up and down so you can get the perfect angle for however you want your MacBook to sit. And you can, of course, twist it as well. The base is solid and sturdy. It's not gonna go anywhere. It looks really good, like I said. And of course, there's rubber pads on the top and on the front where the MacBook would kind of rest against it. It's a really nice stand. It goes great with a nice clean setup. If you're using a laptop as your main computer or using a laptop with an external monitor and you wanna use the laptop screen as the secondary monitor. And we're down to the last 2 of my favorite technology accessories for 2020. And first up is the Elago slim silicone case for Apple TV. People have been complaining about the Apple TV remote for years, the Siri remote, because it's small, it's slippery, it gets lost easily, and you can't really tell which way is the correct way to hold it when it's dark. This solves pretty much all of the problems I had with the Apple TV remote. Because it's a silicone case, it makes it much easier to grip. It makes it thicker. It's not as slippery. It's really nice to hold. In the dark, you know which way is up because there's only one part that isn't covered in silicone on the sides, and that's the touchpad. And the other thing is, it's a big, bright red color. So this thing isn't just going to hide on the couch or hide on a table or easily slide between cushions. It's visible, you're going to see it. They have a number of colors on their website, including glow in the dark if that's what you're into, but I think red does a good job of standing out in my furniture, so it's easy to find when I need it and it's hard to lose. This has been a really handy accessory for the terrible Apple TV remotes. And last up, the most important accessory of 2020, AirPods. Yes, just the regular AirPods. The regular AirPods, not the Pro, not the Pro Max, just AirPods. For the last 3 years, AirPods have been one of 3 things that are always in my pocket: my phone, my wallet, and my AirPods. The beauty of AirPods is just how convenient they are. It's so easy to have them in your pocket, pop one out, stick one in your ear, and start a podcast or listen to the news or Spotify or whatever you want while standing in line or in a meeting at work. Who knows? And the reason that they're convenient and always available and always in my pocket is because of the size of the charging case. I don't understand how no other wireless headphone manufacturer has developed a case this small. This really is the key, in my opinion, to having wireless headphones that are always with you. If these died today, I would buy a pair immediately tomorrow. I don't care if they're on sale or not. I'm going to buy them because I need them. I use them. I am addicted to them. I use them morning till night. I use them for personal stuff and for work stuff. If I could only have one accessory for all of my devices, and luckily I don't have to make that decision, but if I only could have one accessory for all my devices, it would absolutely be AirPods. They are my favorite accessory for everything. So those are all of my favorite accessories for tech products in 2020. Some are new, some are old, some I can't live without, like the AirPods. But what accessories am I missing out on? What do you use and love? Let me know below. On a different topic, this has been a crazy year. 2020 has been nuts, but 2020 has also been really exciting for me on YouTube. I started the year with 8 subscribers, and it looks like we're ending the year just shy of 10,000. And that just blows my mind. Thank you so much for everybody who has liked, shared, and watched and subscribed to my videos all year long. For those that have been with me and left comments and feedback and support in the comments since the beginning of the year and before that, thank you so much. Your support means everything to me, and I really appreciate it. So my goal going forward is to continue to make content that we both like and to respond to as many comments as I can. So from me to you, thank you so much for everything. And I hope that we all have a better 2021.